set for sure.
I think he made it out loser's side.
Okay.
Because Tandoori mentioned to me that he has to play Arsenals tomorrow, and Tandoori definitely made it out winners.
Okay. Cool.
I actually don't know.
Tandoori did make it out winners for sure.
Yeah, I would have been surprised if he didn't, frankly. He's been on a tear lately.
Yeah, I'd probably argue he's top 3 Raymer right now. And until Juanpi's back, he's probably top 2 at this point.
Over AJ Red or Eric I?
Probably over Azrid, just because Azrid hasn't been as active recently.
Is it Azrid or AJ Red?
It's actually Azrid, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was AJ Red for the longest time, and I was corrected on that. So, but
I think it's Novabunny, I think he said the tag was, versus who's this other individual?
Yeah,
SaSSy.
SaSSy,
okay.
yeah. And SaSSy, I believe, just played not too long ago.
Novabunny is the Galu, not the Xana, for reference. So I guess that's
okay, great.
Or actually, I think it's being weird because they have it set up for the red and the blue, but there's someone in port 3.
Okay.
So, but yeah.
Oh, I didn't even notice the color coordination. That's a nice touch.
Yeah, nice
tourney locator.
Yeah, also nice to help inform us, who's playing who.
Yeah, for sure. So how do you feel about this matchup?
I'm not a Xana player, nor am I an Galu player,
right.
but I think on paper, Afi and Galu tend to be light, and Xana tends to hit hard. So, you do the math.
Yep, for sure. I definitely agree with that. But recently patched in was Afi and Galu's back air getting adjusted to have a final hitbox on landing.
Yeah.
And I actually think that can change this up a little bit, because you can get a lot more shield pressure off with them.
Also, it's really good at making just defensive walls in neutral, which Xana tends to struggle with, because, her moves are big, but they all use her arms.
Right.
So, as big as, a forward tilt or a down tilt might be, she's still putting her hitbox inside of another move's hurt. Or putting her hitbox inside of another move's hitbox. So.
Right. And with her game plan being kind of find your spot to get in and take that for a huge advantage, and Afi and Galu tending to be a little more defensive and keep people away, I think every interaction just comes down to when there's a hit, how hard is the punish, and I think that'll really define how the series plays out. Absolutely.
And I think that's honestly the kind of natural progression of every fighting game, right?
Yeah.
You take a hit as far as you can.
Right.
And I think that there are more explosive matchups in Icons and in other games where you start to see that more out the gate, and I think Afi and Galu and Xana are one such matchup.
For sure. And using the side special there to recover. Afi and Galu's recovery, if uncontested, they can come back from almost anywhere off on screen, so you definitely got to be on top of your edge guarding against them.
Definitely.
If you want to take some stocks.
Which is a bit difficult for Xana at times because her aerials tend to occupy a lot of space for not a long amount of time.
Right.
So you end up having to be very diligent about where you're placing your hitboxes when covering the recovery. Or just get a raw kill like that.
Yep, those forward airs tend to kill if they land, so.
Really? Couldn't tell.
And Afi Galu here, they got to get this kill ASAP, so hopefully they can get this off and bring this last stock. Back here. Let's see if he can come up and close this out.
Projectile forcing the double jump, but he didn't convert it. Oh, I guess he did convert into an edge guard off that. Good awareness from Novabunny.
And I'm surprised he didn't go for the F strike to contest the ledge, because the forward strike does cover slightly beneath the ledge on that recovery, so definitely an option to look for moving forward. No double jump here.
Didn't get out of the way in time. Xana's aerial drift is not as good as some of the other characters, so it's more difficult for her to get away from the surprise hitboxes like that.
And I know, and upon seeing the totem switch, I think it's worth noting, if you're not too familiar with Afi and Galu, that move is much more punishable if you're expecting a totem switch than you would expect. It does look like a huge hitbox comes out right away, and there's not much you can do about it, but there's definitely a window there that you can take advantage of it.
Something that a lot of players tend to do is they'll juggle Afi or juggle Galu, whichever one the active one is, and then fade back towards the other one, anticipating a switch, which lets you get in close enough to be able to punish whenever necessary.
Yeah, and especially when playing Raymer, I tend to try to stay near whichever one is inactive and try to shoot off stage, just so it kind of challenges them, like, hey, you can't really swap, I'm going to punish that, but also you just have to recover around my bullet. So.
Definitely. That sort of fundamental principle is what a lot of other characters need to leverage in these sorts of matchups.
Player 2
and the powerful forward strike ending it here, going into game 2. Definitely a close set so far, and hopefully we see a fun game 3. That'd be really hype. Also, using one of the best skins for Afi and Galu.
Agreed.
Swapping them a character select. I'm not sure if a lot of people are aware of that.
Yeah,
you can choose which character to start with.
If you use the C stick or your right stick, depending on what controller you're using. Yep. I'm not sure what the bind is on PC. It might be the D-pad. Or the arrow keys. Yep. But if you use those keys on the menu, you can flip between whichever one you start with. I know a lot of Afi and Galu players tend to start with Galu because they find the ability to juggle people at low percents with the more upwards knocking hitboxes to be very preferable. I know Hylian has been doing that for a very, very long time.
Right. On top of the difference in the projectile covering more space and neutral as well, it seems like the fireball is a little better for catching people off stage, whereas the water ball can kind of bounce around and catch you off your jump or something.
Yeah, definitely.
And,
ooh,
the
weird DI on that up strong.
And let's see, I'll have to go playing a little patient. I'm sorry, we said Novabunny was on Galu, correct?
Yes, because Novabunny was playing Galu earlier. One thing that I'm really liking from Novabunny is that whenever he gets a knockdown, he's not afraid to just stand there and cover a tech option in place. He'll just put a forward tilt in the way, and not overcommit, which is very, very important.
For sure. Yeah, you definitely want to take advantage of your tech chase opportunities, especially on Xana. There we go. There's
good
that
forward air, catching the jump in.
Right. An off B tends to be killing more horizontally off screen compared to Galu's verticality, so the forward air there is sending Xana right off the side.
Yeah, definitely.
And here's the scary up throw. Nice job. Good DI and jumping away out of that.
So if you were Xana in this matchup, what sort of openings would you want to be looking for? Because her moves are slow.
Yes.
You know, just by nature of her being this big, brutal character. Some of them are so up tilt's very fast. But what sort of moves are you thinking SaSSy wants to be looking for against a character that is otherwise rather safe like Galu?
So a lot of times I've noticed Galu players, and especially on Galu, tend to throw projectiles and try to follow up. So if you do get hit by the water ball, you can get a grab and then a follow-up punish off of that. The projectiles are not as oppressive as they may seem, so I think patience is key and just kind of wait for them to approach behind one and then try to take advantage of an opportunity there once they get close range, because once they're close you have a few different options between counters, grabbing, gust shield. There's a lot of things you can do once they're close. Yes.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think that, you know, covering their approach and both respecting but not giving too much respect to their projectiles is very crucial in these matchups, and is frankly something that I struggle with as a player because, like you said, they seem very threatening. They cover a lot of space, they bounce, and they roll.
Right. I was actually talking with Loyal before, trying to learn a little more about the matchup, and he really emphasized that Galu do their best when they're not being challenged, and a lot of players feel like they cannot challenge them. Can we get a follow-up off the side special? No. Side special is very risky with Xana in this matchup because if a projectile is thrown out, and on top of their size, right? So they could either whiff or just get hit out of the projectile. Yep. Beautiful down strike.
Player 2 wins.
And
come on.
Great victory screen option.
Kakatekoi.
I'm personally a fan of the wipe the hair and strike a pose afterwards.
I like that one. I like the bow because I really like the animations that really express Xana's celebrity flourishes.